So good, so good, so good.
New fall arrivals are at Nordstrom Rack stores now. Get ready to save big with up to 60% off Vince, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
How did I not know Rack has Adidas?
Because there's always something new.
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock exclusive discounts on your favorite brands. Shop new arrivals first and more. Plus, get an extra 5% off every Rack purchase with a Nordstrom credit card. Great brands, great prices. That's why you Rack.
Raise the rudders! Raise the sails! Raise the sails!
Captain, an unidentified ship is approaching. Over.
Roger. Wait, is that an Enterprise sales solution?
Reach sales professionals, not professional sailors. With LinkedIn ads, you can target the right people by industry, job title, and more. Start converting your B2B audience today. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started today at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Optimal Health Daily. Casein, or Whey for weight loss, which works best, by Christian Finn of MuscleEvo.net. And I'm Dr. Neil, your very own personal narrator. Welcome to a Tuesday edition of Optimal Health Daily. This is one of just a few podcasts in the world where blogs are read to you. And on this show, you get the added bonus of hearing my commentary at the end. Oh, and another bonus, on Fridays, I answer your questions. Now, to check out our other shows, just search for Optimal Living Daily wherever you're hearing this. But for now, let's get to today's post and start optimizing your life. Casein, or Whey for weight loss, which works best, by Christian Finn of MuscleEvo.net. If you want to lose weight, should your protein shake contain whey or casein? Is one better than the other, or will they have much the same effect on weight loss? Protein and weight loss. When it comes to getting lean, protein has a couple of important roles. First, it does a better job at filling you up than carbohydrates or fat. Eat a protein-rich diet, for example, and chances are you'll end up eating fewer calories throughout the day. Protein also has a muscle-sparing effect. If you don't get enough protein while you're on a diet, you'll end up losing muscle as well as fat. On the basis of how quickly they're digested, proteins are divided into so-called fast and slow proteins. And the two that come to mind whenever someone mentions fast and slow proteins are whey and casein, both of which come from milk. Whey is considered a fast protein because it's rapidly absorbed by the body. Casein, on the other hand, is a slow protein that takes longer to break down and absorb. And it's the slower digestion rate of casein that should, in theory at least, give it the upper hand in the weight loss department. Why? First, because casein hangs around in your stomach longer than whey, it should keep you feeling fuller for longer. As a result, you won't feel as hungry, which should make it easier to create the calorie deficit required for weight loss. Second, because the protein is being released into your system more slowly, casein should do a better job at minimizing the loss of muscle during weight loss. Like I said, that's the theory. But does it actually work like that in practice? If you want to lose weight, what's the best protein supplement to use? Casein versus whey for weight loss, the research. The research on hunger, appetite, and food intake is a bit of a mixed bag. Some studies show that whey leads to higher ratings of satiety and fullness than casein, while others point to casein being more effective than whey at reducing daily food intake. However, short-term changes in satiety and food intake don't always lead to long-term changes in body weight. That's why we need to turn to longer trials that look directly at the effect of casein and whey on body composition over a period of weeks and months. Back in 2012, a team of French scientists looked at how fast and slow proteins affected body composition in a group of obese men and women. Subjects were divided into 4 groups and given 2 different protein supplements, whey or casein. Protein intake was also distributed differently throughout the day. 2 of the groups ate roughly the same amount of protein in each of their 4 meals. Groups 3 and 4 ate most of their protein for the day in a single meal. Here's what happened. For one, the source of protein had no effect on the perception of hunger. As you might expect, subjects felt hungrier before compared to after a meal. Hunger also varied significantly according to meals, with subjects reporting less hunger at breakfast than at lunch and dinner. but subjects given casein didn't feel any less hungry than those given whey. What's more, after 6 weeks of dieting, there was no significant difference in the rate at which fat was lost. Whether they consumed whey or casein, everyone in the study lost roughly the same amount of fat. In the final week of the study, casein was more effective than whey at inhibiting whole body protein breakdown, leading to a greater positive protein balance. This hints at the possibility that casein may do a better job at preserving muscle mass during a period of weight loss. However, the loss of lean body mass, which is a reasonable proxy for muscle mass, was not significantly different in the whey and casein groups. This may be because protein breakdown measured at the whole body level doesn't tell you what's happening to muscle protein. It tells you that protein is being broken down, but it doesn't tell you where. Given that changes in whole body protein balance only showed up in the 6th week of the study, and assuming that changes in whole body protein breakdown were indicative of what was going on at a muscular level, you'd need a study lasting much longer than 6 weeks to detect any effect of whey or casein on changes in lean mass. A similar study, which looked at how whey and casein affect weight maintenance following a period of weight loss, also showed little differences between the two proteins. If casein was making it easier to control hunger and appetite than whey, or vice versa, you'd expect to see one group regain the lost weight more quickly than the other. But that isn't what happened. Whether subjects were given whey or casein, the end result was much the same. How mixing nutrients affects digestion. One of the problems with the concept of fast and slow proteins is that mixing nutrients, such as eating protein with carbohydrate and fat, changes the rate at which amino acids reach the bloodstream. Simply adding table sugar to milk protein, for example, has been shown to slow digestion time and slightly improve the utilization of that protein. Consuming a fast or slow protein as part of a mixed meal or even a few hours after a mixed meal, where nutrients are still being digested and absorbed, is going to affect the way that protein is digested. The way that protein supplements are processed and stored can also affect their digestion rate. There was an interesting study published by a team of Dutch researchers who looked at how 3 different types of casein, micellar casein, calcium caseinate, and sodium caseinate, are digested and absorbed. Surprisingly, micellar casein appeared to be digested and absorbed a lot more quickly than what was expected of a slow protein. In fact, it was even faster than the calcium caseinate, a finding the researchers described as unexpected. A certain type of protein may well behave differently from company to company, from batch to batch, or even based on its shelf life. Final thoughts. Much has been made about the difference between fast and slow proteins. However, while casein and whey are digested and absorbed at different rates, there's very little evidence to show that this has any meaningful impact on weight loss results over a period of weeks and months. If you want to take whey, take whey. If you want to take casein, take casein. As long as you're lifting weights 3 to 4 times a week and your diet ticks the right boxes in terms of calories and protein, it's not going to make much difference one way or the other. You just listened to the post titled, Casein or Whey for Weight Loss, Which Works Best? By Christian Finn of muscleevo.net, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
The Jack Welch Management Institute at Strayer University helps you go from, I know the way, to I've arrived with our top 10 ranked online MBA. Gain skills you can learn today and apply tomorrow. Get ready to go from make it happen to made it happen, and keep striving. Visit strayer.edu/JackWelchMBA to learn more. Strayer University is certified to operate in Virginia by Chev and has many campuses, including at 2121 15th Street North in Arlington, Virginia.
You just realized your business needed to hire someone yesterday. How can you find amazing candidates fast? Easy. Just use Indeed. When it comes to hiring, Indeed is all you need. Stop struggling to get your job post seen on other job sites. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you stand out and hire fast. With Indeed Sponsored Jobs, there are no monthly subscriptions, no long-term contracts, and you only pay for results. One thing I love about Indeed is how it speeds up hiring. When I've hired in the past, the process was overwhelming, and I wish I'd used Indeed. There's no need to wait any longer. Speed up your hiring right now with Indeed. And listeners of this show will get a $75 sponsored job credit to get your jobs more visibility at Indeed.com/health. Just go to Indeed.com/health right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/health. Terms and conditions apply. Hiring? Indeed is all you need. Dr. Neal here for my commentary. I want to go back to something today's author, Christian Finn, said because it's really important. Christian said that there was a study that found adding table sugar to milk protein improved the body's use of that protein. This is a really important finding because when we think about maximizing muscle growth, we often focus our attention only on getting enough protein. So after a workout, for example, someone may hyper-focus only on getting enough protein and completely ignore carbohydrates. But what we're learning is that having some carbohydrates and protein is the most beneficial. This is because carbohydrates help the body absorb and use protein more effectively. And this is exactly what today's author Christian was explaining when he mentioned the study that found adding table sugar to milk protein improves the body's use of protein. After all, table sugar is a type of carbohydrate, right? It's a simple carbohydrate, but a carbohydrate nonetheless. And as Christian said, maybe we don't need to hyper-focus on which type of milk protein we're consuming to help build muscle. Instead, consume a balanced diet with some carbohydrates, protein, and fat, and performing some strength training exercises regularly are probably most important for muscle growth. All right, that'll do it for today. Thank you so much for listening and being a subscriber or follower of the show. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow where your optimal life awaits.